right, so we've got a stack of articles here all about binoculars. Looks like someone's ready for a clearer view.
I'd say. It's easy to get overwhelmed with all the choices out there.
Totally. But that's what we're here for, right? By the end of this deep dive, you'll be a total binocular boss, ready to pick out the perfect pair.
Absolutely.
You know, it's funny. It only takes one little bird to get you hooked on this whole birding thing.
Oh, tell me about it.
I remember the first time I realized I could actually tell the difference between a titmouse
Yeah.
and just a regular gray bird.
Yeah.
It was all thanks to a good pair of binoculars. I was like, whoa, look at the markings on that little guy.
It's amazing what you miss with the naked eye.
Totally. So before we get into all the different models and stuff, let's do a quick refresh on the basics. Those two numbers you see on binoculars, like 8x42.
Right, the magnification and objective lens size.
Exactly. Now, I'm assuming you know what magnification means.
Of course.
But the thing is, that 8x magnification, it makes a huge difference in what you actually see when you're out there.
Huge, whether you're looking at birds in flight or trying to spot those craters on the moon.
Right. And speaking of the moon, you were looking at some pretty powerful binoculars for astronomy, like that Celestron Skymaster. That was a 15x, right?
Yeah, 15 by 70, those are great for astronomy. And that 70 refers to the objective lens size, which is the second number we see on binoculars.
Okay, so bigger lens means
More light.
more light, so everything's brighter and clearer.
Exactly. Especially in low light conditions. Imagine trying to spot owls as the sun's setting.
That makes those 8x42 binoculars sound like a good starting point.
Yeah, good all-around versatility.
Decent zoom, good brightness. But I'm guessing there's a trade-off somewhere. There always is.
Well, the trade-off with those larger lenses is weight.
Ah, that makes sense.
You'll definitely notice it if you're carrying them around all day.
Like choosing between a heavy-duty backpack for a long hike versus something lighter for a quick trip.
Exactly.
It all depends on your needs. And speaking of finding the right fit, we have to talk about field of view.
Oh, field of view is so important, especially for beginners. Imagine trying to track a bird flitting through the trees.
Oh yeah, definitely.
A wider field of view is like having a panoramic window. You
Ow.
can follow that bird without feeling like you're constantly adjusting your aim. It's all about being immersed in the moment, you know?
Makes sense. So someone into bird watching or wildlife would want to prioritize field of view, right?
Absolutely. The wider, the better in those cases. And speaking of things to look out for, eye relief is another big one, especially if you wear glasses.
Because it affects how far away you can hold the binoculars and still see everything clearly.
Exactly. And then there are the different prism designs, roof prisms and poro prisms.
Right. I saw those terms come up in the articles.
Roof prisms are kind of like the sleek sports cars of the binocular world, compact and streamlined. Poro prisms are more like the classic cars, maybe a bit bulkier, but often a bit more budget-friendly.
Okay, that's a great analogy. I can definitely picture that. Now let's talk about the elephant in the room, or maybe we should say the price tag on the shelf. Binoculars can get pricey.
Oh yeah, the price range is all over the map.
What's the deal with that?
Well, a lot of it comes down to the quality of the glass and the lens coatings.
So it's not just about the features, it's about the actual view you get.
Exactly. A clearer, brighter, more immersive experience you're paying for quality. Think of it like comparing a standard window to a high-end camera lens.
Makes sense. You get what you pay for.
You know, it really is like the difference between listening to music on a tinny phone speaker versus a live concert.
Totally.
Huh.
Okay, I'm ready to talk about some specific binoculars now.
Let's do it.
In your research, you included the Nikon Monarch M5s, and one article said they're like a rite of passage for birders.
Oh yeah, the Monarchs are legendary. They're a great balance of quality and price, that's for sure.
So a good option for someone who's serious about birding but doesn't want to break the bank.
Exactly. Plus, they have a close focus distance of just over 8 feet.
Oh, wow. So you could use them for butterflies and dragonflies, too.
Absolutely.
Nice. So versatile. Now, for someone on a tighter budget who's just starting out, what would you recommend?
The Celestron Nature DX-ED binoculars are a great place to start. They punch above their weight for the price.
Really?
Yeah, you get really good clarity and brightness for the money.
You know, it's amazing how affordable good binoculars have become.
I know, right?
Yeah.
It used to be that you had to spend a fortune to get a decent pair.
Totally. And we can't forget the little explorers. I saw you looking at some binoculars for kids, those Nocs 8x25s.
Oh yeah, those are great for kids.
What makes them so good for kids?
Well, they're small, they're lightweight, and they come in fun colors. Plus, they can take a beating.
Durable. Important for kids.
Essential.
Definitely. Okay, shifting gears a bit here. You were also researching some binoculars for stargazing. And those Celestron Skymaster 15x70s really stood out.
Oh yeah, those are a classic for a reason. With those big objective lenses, you get incredible views of the night sky.
So you can actually see the moon's craters and stuff.
Oh yeah, you can see a ton of detail. They're pretty heavy though, so you'll probably want to use a tripod, especially for longer viewing sessions.
That makes sense. A small price to pay for a glimpse into the cosmos. Now, for folks who want something easy to carry around, compact binoculars seem like the way to go.
Absolutely. Perfect for travel, hiking, even just keeping in your car.
Right. And they've gotten so much better in terms of quality.
Oh, for sure. The Maven C.2 7x28s are a great example. Super compact, but amazing optics.
It's crazy how they pack so much technology into such a small package these days. What about for people who want to get a super close-up view, like really zoom in on those distant details?
Well, in that case, you'd be looking at high-powered binoculars. The Vortex Viper HD 10x42s you picked are a solid option. They're rugged too, which is a plus.
Yeah, durability is key, especially if you're out in the wilderness.
Absolutely. Or even just if you're prone to dropping things.
Oh, that's me all the way.
Yeah.
Now, these next ones are super cool image-stabilized binoculars. It sounds like magic.
Right. It's like having a built-in tripod.
Exactly. How does it even work?
They use gyroscopes and fancy microprocessors to counteract any shaking from your hands. It's a game changer, especially for birdwatching or if you're on a boat or something.
Wow. I can see why that would be helpful, especially for someone like me who's a little shaky from all the coffee. So any recommendations in that category?
The Canon 8x20 IS binoculars are a good choice, compact and surprisingly affordable for what they offer.
Canon makes great cameras, so I'm not surprised their image stabilization is top-notch. What about something even more powerful?
The Fusionon 14x40 Technostabi binoculars are in a league of their own. Top-of-the-line stabilization, waterproof, incredible optics.
Wow, those sound intense. Okay, before we move on, there's one more thing I want to touch on, spotting scopes. What's the deal with those? Are they like super-powered binoculars?
Kind of. Spotting scopes give you even more magnification, so you can see distant objects in amazing detail. The Pentax 2060 by 80mm PF80 ED you selected is an excellent option, known for its clarity and brightness.
It's like a portable telescope almost.
Exactly. Birders love them, wildlife enthusiasts, even amateur astronomers.
Cool. But they're not as portable as regular binoculars, right?
Right. They're bigger and heavier, so you'll often see them mounted on tripods.
Okay, that makes sense. All right, so we've covered a ton of ground here. We've talked about everything from basic features to some really high-end stuff. And you've given us so much to think about. But now I think it's time to switch gears a bit and talk about how to actually choose the right binoculars for your specific needs. I feel like we've climbed Mount Binocular. We've gone from budget picks to binoculars that probably cost more than my first car.
Right.
But you're right, it all comes down to what works best for you, not what's the most expensive or has the fanciest name.
Exactly. And that's why, even after all this research, the best advice I can give is to try before you buy.
Makes total sense. It's like you wouldn't buy hiking boots without trying them on first.
Exactly. Go to a store, pick up a few different models, feel the weight, try the focusing. Most importantly, look through them. See the difference yourself.
Yeah. It's one thing to read about the field of view and all that. It's another to actually experience it.
Totally. And don't be shy about asking questions. Those people in the optics stores, they're like binocular matchmakers.
Binocular matchmakers, that's amazing. I love it.
They've seen it all. They can help you find the perfect pair for your needs. And while we're talking about getting the most out of your binoculars, make sure you adjust that intercupillary distance.
Enter what now?
The distance between the eyepieces. Gotta match it to your eyes.
Oh, right.
And don't forget the diopter adjustment.
To be honest, I always forget what that one does.
It compensates for any differences in vision between your left and right eye. It's a small adjustment, but it makes a big difference in terms of clarity.
Right. All about that crystal clear view. I remember the first time I saw a hawk circling through my binoculars.
Oh, yeah.
It felt like I could almost count the feathers on its wings.
See, that's what it's all about, that connection with nature.
Speaking of, what are some other cool things people could use their binoculars for? Beyond the usual bird watching and stargazing, I mean.
Oh, man, so many possibilities. Meteor showers, sporting events, even concerts.
Oh, that's right. You could use them at a concert. Like having front row seats no matter where you are in the stadium.
Exactly. It's all about seeing the details you wouldn't normally see.
I'm inspired. I want to go on a binocular adventure right now. Thank you so much for taking us on this deep dive. We learned so much.
It was my pleasure. Go forth and explore. The world is waiting.
I love it. And on that note, we'll wrap up this deep dive. We hope you're feeling as excited about binoculars as we are. Remember, sometimes all it takes is a closer look to spark a sense of wonder about the world around us. Thanks for joining.